Hey there and welcome on back. As always, I'm Carl with Target's Attitude, absent-minded professor of knives and all things sharp. So I'm back, grab your pens and paper, class is about to begin. First, as always, a little bit of syllabus work. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We do 2 series of videos here. This one that we're about to get into is Bug Out 101. Basically, we're looking at ways you can build your own emergency pack in case of emergencies and you need to get the hell out of Dodge quickly. The other one is reviews of various knives and camping and survival gear. We get a lot of interesting things, always looking for suggestions. If you're not new to the channel, well, I'm glad you came back again. Just got one question for you. Have you subscribed yet? Yeah, I'm asking. Yeah, you out in California as well as you over there in, what is that? Yeah, that's Alabama. Oh, and there's someone up there in Washington. Okay. Okay, so you subscribed and you subscribed, but you haven't. Why not? It's easy enough. Just hit that button right down there. It says subscribe. Then you hit the bell right next to it. That way you get notified every time I do a new video. Easy enough, and it's a win-win situation. Win for you because you get to see whenever I do a neat new video. Win for me because, let's be honest, the more subscribers I have, the easier it is to get all these things to do neat new videos on. But on with class today. As I say, today is Wednesday, so it's Bug Out 101 day. And today we're going to be looking at food. Now you might be asking, well, wait a minute, we're talking about just an emergency getting out of the way of a disaster like a hurricane or something. Why do we need to worry about food? Well, it's simple. Let's take the fiasco that happened with Floyd back in, I want to say it was 2002, something like that. May have been late 90s. I can't remember exactly the date. But our brilliant governor at the time did not reverse lanes on I-26 to make evacuation smooth and easy. Every other governor before him and every other governor since him did during a hurricane. He did not. As a result, people trying to get from Charleston to Columbia were getting stuck on the highway, and we're still sitting on the highway when the hurricane hit. It took my wife driving up to her mother-in-law's, my mother-in-law, about 9.5, almost 10 hours. And the only reason she managed to make it that quickly is that she knew some of the back roads, so she didn't have to use I-26. Under normal circumstances, it took us 3 hours to get from Charleston to my mother-in-law's house up in the upstate, Greenville area, which is where I'm living now. If something had happened, say the car had broken down or overheated or something, before she got into Columbia, well, it's 113 miles from Charleston to Columbia. The average person walks about between 3 and 4 miles an hour. That means it would take you 3 days to walk to Columbia from Charleston. If your car broke down in the middle of a hurricane and you had to start walking, damn well better have some food with you, because you're going to be in big trouble by the time you get wherever you're going if you don't. But what type of food do you take with you? You can take canned goods, but canned goods are heavy. It's just not really effective. There are plenty of protein bars out there. This is one my wife loves. And this is, this has, let's see here, 20 grams of 20 grams of protein in it. So 23 grams of carbs, which is Not bad. If you're walking, you're going to burn off those carbs pretty quickly. 20 grams of protein. Nice. Let's see here. Atkins bars. This particular one has 17 grams of protein. And as you can see, it's only got 3 grams of net carbs, 7 grams of fiber. If you're a diabetic, this isn't bad at all. It's great. You got Cliff Builder bars. I particularly love these chocolate mint ones. They taste almost identical to Girl Scout Thin Mints. They're just fantastic. This one, there's again 20 grams of protein, 31 grams of carbs, 17 grams net carb basically, but that's not bad at all, and it's got reasonable nutrition. So yeah, these will do you, and they last a good long time. I mean, I've had this box for a while now, and the expiration date is, come on, where is the expiration date? Keep moving. Here we go. This by October of 2021. So I've got a year on this. So those aren't bad. They don't weigh a lot. They're small, compact. They'll fit in your backpack easy, or your bug out bag easily. But if you're walking for 3 days, you might want a hot meal or two on the way. So how do you do that? Well, don't recommend cans, as I said before. A can of Campbell's soup weighs in at just around a pound. And after you're done, you've got to figure out what to do with the can. On the other hand, a pack of Lipton's instant noodle soup weighs in at maybe 3 ounces, maybe 2 ounces. All I have to do is add hot water and stir. Oatmeal, again, maybe 2 ounces a pack. Add hot water and stir. Of course, this is a little boring, so you could go to other ways. For instance, let's see here. For breakfast, Backpacker's Pantry makes a bunch of different ones, like this one that's granola with bananas, almonds, and milk. Read the ingredients. Let's see here. Granola made of whole grain oats, butter, brown sugar, coconut, almonds, salt, and powdered whole milk, dehydrated bananas, and dehydrated coconut. This pack is good through October of 2023. But you've got 3 years for this, and it makes enough for 2 people, 2 servings, and it weighs maybe 6-7 ounces. Or maybe you'd like something a little different. Okay. This is Foods to Go. Smoked 3-bean chili. Again, less than a half of a pound. Pack serves 2 people. Just add boiling water and serve. And as far as those of you who are concerned about ingredients, well, we've got dehydrated tomatoes, onions, corn, dried beans, black, navy, and red, carrots, tomato paste, garlic, extra virgin olive oil, ancho chili powder, smoked paprika powder, kosher salt, chipotle powder, ground coriander, fried oregano, ground cumin, dried thyme. I don't see any preservatives in there, and yet it's good until November of 2024. You talk about good quality ingredients, and it's super simple. Other companies besides Food to Go and Backpackers Company makes all sorts of foods. I mean, just as an example, I've also got red beans and rice. I've got lasagna. I've got fettuccine alfredo with chicken. Wise makes some brands. There's a ton of companies out there making them. Just do a web search for hiking food. Sorry, I had to go see what was going on with my son there, but so other things you can consider: various dried sausages. Most of them are pre-cooked, and there's an amazing assortment. I mean, you've got pepperoni, you've got chorizo, you've got various types of salami, including Genoa and hard. You've got summer sausage, you've got Lebanon bologna, you've got Thuringer, andouille, sopressata. The list is amazing. Well, none of them need refrigeration. All of them are good for several days after you open the package. So as long as you don't open the package until you absolutely have to start eating them, got no problem with it being sitting in the closet with you in your backpack. Of course, you might want to look at a couple of things. For instance, as I said, with these backpacker packs and foods to go, you do need boiling water. So, probably going to need a camp stove of some sort. Now, there's all sorts out there. There are some that fold up nice and flat, and you can put small chips and small branches in to get a nice little bit of heat and get your kettle going. There's some that use basically a solid fuel cube that are great. You've even got things like this. Basically, you've got a small camp stove that just voila. You attach this to a propane tank. They make propane tanks just for hiking that are maybe that much bigger than that and wide so that they stand pretty nicely. This has a stand with it to help make sure that the propane tank doesn't tip over, or you can bushcraft yourself one. This will heat up some water or your food very quickly, very easily. Or if you've got the proper knowledge, you can make a little, not really a camp stove, but a little fireplace to build a fire and cook things over that. I mean, people have been doing that for centuries. Oh, come on, get back in there properly, you. There you go. As far as cooking gear, well, I mean, let's see here. I've got this kit. It's simple enough. As you can see, it's not very big, not very heavy. Comes in a mesh bag to keep everything together, so you don't go losing it in your backpack. And it's basically got handles that fit in. You've got either cook in this or eat out of it. Got a slightly smaller bowl and slightly smaller pot. So if you're just cooking for 2 people, this will do just fine. If all you need to do is boil some water to put in one of these backpack meals, this will do the trick just fine. And it doesn't take up that much room. And it certainly isn't all that heavy. And as I say, it's easy enough to put back together. There you go. Put it back in your mesh bag. And voila. Some canteens nowadays come with a metal cup that you can use to cook stuff in. You've got slightly, oh come on box, slightly bigger sets. I mean, this is called a mess kit, but basically it's 2 skillets that can also be used as pots. And come on. And it comes in a mesh bag. This is a little bigger and a little heavier, but yeah, not bad. If you're with your wife or with your family, one person can carry this, and one person can carry 2 of these. Now this is plastic, so you can't cook in it, but I did a review of these not too long ago. And it's got, you could use that as a plate. It's got a cutting board. It's got a container of salt and pepper. It's got a plastic cup, plate or bowl, and it's got some utensils, eating utensils. So yeah, one person carries the cooking equipment, one person carries 2 of these. You're good to go. All in all, and if you want, you can always throw in something like, oh, say, here it is. This is designed for campers and hikers. And now all it is 2, 4, 6 different spices in a fairly lightweight container. So you don't have, if you are doing your own food, don't have to be bored with it. This salt and pepper is going to liven anything up. Then you've also got curry powder, paprika, garlic salt, and cayenne pepper in here. That'll make a big difference in how your food tastes. And you don't even have to go quite like this. Um, there are a couple video things out there, like say Townsend and Son. They do a lot of historic cooking, including a lot of the stuff that soldiers in the 17 and 1800s used to carry, and stuff that pioneers used to use when they were going out into the wilderness. And let's say that soldiers didn't want to carry a ton of food. They wanted enough that they could eat, but they didn't want it weighing them down. They had too much other things to carry, especially all that powder and all those bullets. Their packs were heavy enough. So, yeah, you can always look up some of those. You'll find other people having videos on how to make your own freeze-dried soup mixes, how to dehydrate various things. Jerky is the original trail food. There's at least 7 different ways to make jerky that I know of, and I'm sure there's videos out there that'll tell you plenty more. So all in all, lots of things you can do for food. But it is something you need to think about as well. Say you might just be happy with protein bars. That'll do you for a couple days easy. And if you live here in the South or out in the Southwest, where it tends to get rather hot, yeah, that'd probably be all you need really for emergency supplies for 2 or 3 days. If you live up north, on the other hand, even in the spring, it can be awfully cold in the morning, so having some instant coffee or a couple tea bags, that hot granola that I pointed out, or some oatmeal, it's really going to help take the edge off and get you going for the day. And a good hot meal at the end of the day is definitely going to improve your spirits and make you feel a lot better. All thing is up to you. What do you think you need? What do you think you'd be happy with? Just make sure you've got enough for 2 or 3 days, because it's just because you can drive from the coast to the mountains in 3 hours under normal conditions doesn't mean you can do it in an emergency. Floyd proved that. Hurricane Floyd proved that in a heartbeat. And if you do need to abandon your car, say you broke down while vacationing up in Nantahala Gorge. There's no cell phone service in the gorge. Forget it. You're not calling for help. And so, what you can travel in a car doing 45 to 50 miles an hour is a hell of a lot further than you can get on foot when you're only walking 3 to 4 miles an hour. Definitely make sure you have something with you in their back. Believe me, you'll regret it if you don't. But in the meantime, we've gone long enough, and I still have a lot to do here today, so I wish you luck. You take care of yourself. We'll see you next week when we do another new class on Bug Out. We'll see you Friday when we do another review. Until then, remember, maybe ability decides what you can do. Maybe motivation that decides what you will do. It's attitude that decides how well you'll do it. So if you're going to do something, no matter how minor or how major, do it with attitude. See you now. Bye.